Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in. And let's start off with this here, the last mile playbook for global payments. So what does the last mile basically mean? Well, they break it down here. Basically what it is changing the way value is moved and also settled, because settlement is the big one, because I could move a payment instantly. For an example, if I was to send a transaction, I could hit send and boom, it sends. But the problem is the settlement time. And I said this even with, I was talking about Swift Go, right? You have rapid payments. Rapid payments is a thing. That's 100% a thing that is possible right now. But what's missing? It's a crucial piece of the puzzle, right? To finish that puzzle, you need rapid settlement. They even do go in depth on this as well around cross-border payments and how it could take weeks to settle. They're actually talking about the total maximum days to settle was 9 days. Look at this. This isn't even taken into accountability, the cost associated with this. But today it's a little bit different, because this playbook is from 2020. One thing that I want to note within this is this area here. Messaging on these networks isn't in lockstep with the movement of funds. Additionally, there is a limitation in the richness of data and the structure in which it can be transmitted. Also, these networks don't always have a bidirectional messaging to enable pre-validations or confirmations. Now, remember how everyone kept saying ISO 20022 is bullish for XRP? Yeah, this is why. Because as we do see messaging improve, a lot of the inefficiencies around the payment system improves as well. Meaning, yes, we could see some upgrades here, but why is it bullish for crypto? Why is it bullish for Ripple? Well, allowing messaging to be efficient, it allows for more use cases to be realized in. But with ISO 20022 being the uniform messaging platform, or I should say just a uniform messaging standard for these, not platform, it allows the RippleNet platform to be utilized within the financial system or the global payment system. Meaning, yes, XRP could technically be exposed to these payments, but it's not exactly directly bullish for XRP. But I will say this. There is a lot of issues tied to the payment system, which we all know about today. So I do believe that going forward on in time, we should focus on the right companies, the right efficient use cases, the utility around some of these tokens as well. And XRP is one of the most lucrative ones, which I've talked about many times on this channel. But I do want to take you guys over to this here. So Anderson posted this yesterday, and we do see FedNow solves the last mile problem of transactions being sent into the US, expected to go live in July. Now, like I said, this is why I wanted to bring up the last mile. And we do see, no, it's not related to crypto, but it's part of the puzzle. You need a great real-time domestic payment system from David Schwartz. And here we have, and this is, by the way, from his speech that he held at a university going all the way back to 2020. And we do see, in working to build modern international payments, we've discovered that the biggest obstacle is often the very last hop, getting the funds to the payment recipient through the domestic payment system. But lacking connectivity to consumers, CBDCs won't solve the last mile problem that has made modernizing international payments so difficult. Fortunately, domestic systems are modernizing. SEPA, Singapore, and others all have very strong domestic systems. The US is implementing FedNow. Though that won't be live for another few years. And now we are starting to see these systems launching and becoming a reality. So this is very, very interesting. Now, I want to take you guys over to Matthew Lyny's tweet recently talking about the FedNow service, going all the way back to March 18th. And we do see FedNow is a multiple payment rail platform. There are dozens of vendors that will be available to clients here here are a few Ripple customers and XRP enabled options. So here we have who could use the FedNow service. Obviously, it goes in depth on financial institutions and things like that. But here we have FedNow instant payments, service providers, financial institutions, end users, and other industry providers. It breaks these all down into these categories. Now over here, we have a few of the major names here. FIS, BNY Mellon, Oracle, this is Ren Connect, CGI Payments, Temenos. We also have a few other ones here, Cypherium, which we've talked a little bit about Cypherium. Again, Cypherium always rubs me the wrong way. I told you guys I don't really like the project. But here we have Volante, Finastra, Forum 3, Fiserv, MasterCard, ACI Worldwide, and there's also a few other ones here as well. But on the last page, we do see the FedNow Service Provider Showcase is a one-stop resource for connecting financial institutions and businesses with service providers that can help them innovate and implement instant payment products using the FedNow service. Filter and browse through the gallery to find a provider that's right for your needs. Now, again, there's a ton of Ripple partners here that could very well be exposed to Ripple. I'm not saying that it's 100% certainty that Ripple will be utilized for any of these major payments, but it is possible through like Volante or Finastra, and there's a few other ones here as well, that Ripple could be exposed to FedNow. But it is definitely interesting that we are at this current moment in time where FedNow is very close to launch, which I talked a little bit about how this could be an accelerant for a banking collapse by streamlining payments like this without the proper liquidity, which I also said is a perfect use case for XRP, because on-demand liquidity, in my opinion, is crucial right now because banks are lacking liquidity. There's not enough liquidity in the system for 24/7, 365 real-time settlement payments. It's hard to have that without the proper liquidity management or the liquidity tools. We know Ripple 1 is focused on the liquidity hub, but we also do know 2, Ripple has the offering with on-demand liquidity enabled XRP use cases, which again, I believe the Fed could 100% benefit greatly from. Now, are they going to utilize it? That's the big question. And I would honestly say, I doubt it, because we are in this point in time where if they were going to utilize it, one, we would see Ripple documents that we have not found any of, by the way. There's no PDF files saying that the Fed is going to utilize Ripple or anything like that. I know that a lot of people have said it in the past, including myself as well, because there was a lot of things in the past that kind of pinpointed to Ripple being utilized, but after so long and after so many major updates, guess what? We basically come to the conclusion that, one, it looks like the Fed wants to do their own thing. They don't want to source power from Ripple, or they don't want to utilize XRP, if you will. It almost looks as if the US wants to battle against crypto, or at least make this narrative that they want to, but it would be in their best interest, right? And I ask all of you, what do you think is going to happen with this? I'd love to hear from all of you. I'd love to read all of the possibilities. But as we do look at Ripple, I know that they are exploring a lot of use cases with CBDCs. And I think that this is actually in their best interest as well, because, you know, if we are going to get to the point of CBDCs coming into a reality, which I've talked about how Ripple is hyper-focused on CBDCs. In fact, they want to position XRP as a bridge between all CBDCs. Then, hey, why wouldn't they want to be ahead of the curve? And remember, going back to the speech, CBDCs won't solve the last mile problem, but guess who does? That's right, Ripple sourcing XRP. So again, them going after CBDCs and exploring CBDC mainly for use cases as well as possibly expanding the reach of Ripple products, I think that this is actually good for them and beneficial for them. I also think that it is, with exposure to XRP, beneficial to XRP holders. And we do see over here from 801_XRP, this is James Wallace. I talked to you guys a little bit about James Wallace. We do see from Ripple on CBDCs and intermediaries, we're working in all continents apart from Antarctica. This is actually pretty large. It's actually mind-blowing, to be honest with you guys, but we have more than 10 active projects, which we don't even know about. Like, this is crazy, and are talking to a lot more central banks than that. Listen closely to this.
I think the it's very clear that in every instance, there will be intermediaries of some sort. Central banks are not equipped to open accounts for individual citizens, right? They work with the banking sector. I think we'll see, as Laurent said, different flavors around the world. I think in some of the emerging markets, we work in all continents apart from Antarctica, and we have more than 10 active projects, and talking to a lot more central banks than that. And in every single instance, there is a role for the commercial banks, as distribution methodology, onboarding, KYC, and so forth. But I think we'll also see in some of the emerging markets where traditional banking is not does not got a great penetration because they don't serve very well the people with low incomes. I think we'll see other entities, whether that be payment providers or fintechs or other startup organizations, that will, they most likely will need to get licensed by the central bank. But the central banks just are not equipped to be able to deal with the retail. I think we will see different flavors, and we'll see different sets of rules. I think one of the interesting things is when you start talking about cross-border and you have, maybe within the ECB zone, you have one set of rules on how much currency you can hold, and then in another jurisdiction it's different. And then when you start doing cross-border, how does that all work out? So that's an interoperability topic which we may come on to later, but definitely 100% intermediaries for CBDCs.
I have a question here. We are.
So yeah, this is pretty big, and yeah, I do think that there is a few things that we definitely need to look into around CBDCs. There's a lot of warning signs. I've talked about it. It's actually pretty scary. It's a very terrifying topic if you actually look into CBDCs and understand what's happening around them. But I will say, Ripple is expanding rapidly. This is proof of that. 10 active projects already, which we only know of 2 so far. But they are talking to a lot more central banks than that as well. So way more than 10 plus central banks are already in talks with Ripple. This is very interesting. And they are already working in all continents apart from obviously Antarctica. But this is pretty large. And this is actually a bombshell that we've seen. And again, shout out to #801_XRP because this is a huge find. Now also, again, like I said, understanding how large of an opportunity that we have with XRP can be summed up into the perspective of what Michael Arrington did utilizing XRP. Shout out to XRP_Crow for this, but we do see we moved $50 million. Mind you, $50 million, moving that amount of money, in traditional banking is extremely hard. Very large loopholes to jump through, and waiting times and cost and all that kind of stuff. But we do see worth of XRP into our company in 3 damn seconds. 3 damn seconds. What can you possibly do in 3 seconds? Well, moving $50 million is a reality when you actually utilize XRP. Go utilize your bank account and try to move $50 million in 3 seconds. I guarantee you that it's impossible right now. And it cost 30 cents. There is no way to do that with fiat or Bitcoin. Now, mind you, this was 2018. We recently know that $755 million, which is $705 more million than this transaction, was moved with XRP. It took seconds to settle as well. But guess what? It cost 1 penny. So it seems as though the cost associated with transacting with XRP is now becoming a lot cheaper. And I know that it's kind of funny talking about how it's becoming cheaper because it dropped 29 cents, but it really is crazy to think about how we're talking cents instead of dollars or hundreds of dollars or thousands, because that's the traditional world of finance is thousands of dollars in terms of fees when you're moving $50 million. So this is crazy to me. And again, it all takes me back to the beginning, which is the last mile. We're basically at this point in time where liquidity is scarce. Like within the traditional world, there's basically zero liquidity. So what we have is payment systems that are under a ton of pressure, and there's a major demand for real-time settlement around payments. And a lot of these nations that are tied to the last mile playbook, which is like Argentina, Australia, Brazil, and so many other ones, like a lot of these major nations that are tied, or I should say listed on this PDF file, a lot of them already have exposure to Ripple and are utilizing Ripple use cases, which is crazy. Imagine the next couple years after we, one, get rid of this lawsuit or get beyond this lawsuit. Like, imagine what's going to happen from there on out. In my opinion, yes, the future is digital. The future is crypto. I think that this market and this industry and the technology around it is going to not only disrupt, which they're talking about this $127 trillion per year, the value of international payments. It's not only going to disrupt that amount of money flow, but it's going to disrupt a lot more. I mean, we've talked about real estate. We've talked about all of the other major markets that could be disrupted by crypto and digital assets. It's only going to continue to grow and grow and grow from here. And it is because of the efficiency tied to this. I mean, you look at the overall exposure that Ripple is creating for XRP, but also you look at the exposure that XRP has just from the XRP ledger itself. Like, the ecosystem around XRP continues to expand on a daily basis, not only from the institutional grade sector, but from the retail sector. And that combined creates a major opportunity for those that do have patience, they see the vision, and they understand what they hold and the technology behind what they hold as well. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.